Are we live?
Yeah, I love that when we're is okay, ready to go live, and then we get this little tail end thing about the behind the scenes. Yeah, let me put away my chips. Gail starts going about the bird being here. Hey, fellow film buffs, Englentine here for Xtreme Movie Show, and with me as always, we've got Robzilla.
Good evening.
That's I gave you the build up, man. I thought we're go on into something, man.
Well, I'll go into
Good
something.
evening.
I
All
want
right.
to give the big whiskey bang out there to Jay and chat, but
Oh,
did you?
speaking of, I've got whiskey. Yeah,
That's nice. But did
yeah.
you ever listen to our recent snacking where we covered vinegar and salt potato chips?
I was part of that.
Were you? Because I'm eating
Yeah.
them right now. Okay.
Vinegar and salt. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
But I
Um,
won't while we talk, and I just want to say thank you for the people that are showing up on what we just did here for the pre-hype show. Soylent
mhm.
Green, Dr. Venkman, we were trying something different. His audio wasn't there, so it was a solo shot. I soloed myself all over the live stream because I haven't ever done that yet. So that was the
That is
first.
awesome.
So I feel a little busted right now. Or as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, would say about Tom Jones breaking her in, she got stitches. So that's what I'm feeling like right now.
Yipes.
That being
Okay.
said, we're leading up to Halloween and September and October. So what's the theme for tonight, sir?
Well, because at the end of the month, we have one of the most anticipated films of 2019, at least from the Extreme Movie Show's point of view. We are going to be watching the Rambo movies. Right on up to the release date of the new Rambo movie. So tonight we are starting off with a running commentary, or as we like to call them, a watch party of First Blood. Not Rambo First Blood, because we're not millennials. We are old men who remember when this was out in the theaters. But First Blood, that's it. No Rambo, no nothing. It's just First Freaking Blood starring Sylvester Stallone and Brian Dennehy. And a little bit of history or anything you want to share there, Rob, about this film?
Maybe want to buy a knife. I'm coming for you. Absolutely. That's a great line.
That's part two, though.
Well, it doesn't matter. Who cares?
He grabs up mic. Murdoch, I'm coming for you. Yeah.
I am working on GIMP music, by the way, E, just so you know. So before we get started here with 6 people showing up, that's pretty awesome. Do you know where the phrase First Blood kind of comes from, like in the sports world?
No, give it to us.
It's like in boxing, when you're fighting and then you hurt somebody, and they kind of played up a little bit in the Rocky movies. They're like, see, he's cut. He's just human. He bleeds. He's just a man. He's just a man, Rock. He's just a man. It's kind of like that in sports too. Like if I scored on you first playing basketball, well, I got the first score. I drew first blood. I got the first in on you. So first blood here, I always took it as he got pushed. And like one of my favorite lines early on, which kind of sets up the whole thing, why are you pushing me? And then between him and Dennehy is fantastic in this film. That's how I always looked at it. I did not actually put the war stuff into it other than it was his background or what the franchise turned out to be. But it's great that, 20 plus, I guess 30 to 40 years, 40 years later, almost, we have Last Blood coming out. So I'm really excited for both. I'm hyped up for this.
Yeah, seriously. So there's a few things to watch out for. When Rambo is racing, when he's run down the pavement on the motor or riding down the pavement on the motorcycle, yelling, get out of the way, watch his mouth because he's actually saying effing move it. During the bike patrol car chase, Rambo's riding a Yamaha, but the sound effects, it's a four-stroke engine, but the sound effect is of a 2. I'm just noticing some goofs that some people have found out. I always like to point these out just for fun. And during his conversation with Sheriff Teasel, just before the body bags comment, Colonel Troutman's mouth movements are slightly out of sync. So little goofs to keep an eye out for. And I've got a whole bunch of little stories and such like this. So Sylvester Stallone hated the first cut of the film so much that he tried to buy the film back and destroy it.
Say that again?
It says Sylvester Stallone hated the first cut of the movie so much that he tried to buy the film back and destroy it. And when he couldn't do that, he suggested that the producers cut much of his part and let the rest of the characters tell the story. That cut the movie time in half and set a precedent for future action films.
Yeah, I knew there was a lot of cuts and stuff for it too. I didn't realize he didn't like it, but yeah,
And
good film.
well, that explains why, Krenna's character, that explains his entire character, because all he is there to tell everybody how much of a badass Rambo is, which I'm thinking, okay, if Krenna is the guy who trained Rambo, why isn't he going out to help these guys stop Rambo? Because he's only there to tell everybody about how badass Rambo is. So that's that actually kind of fits. But yeah, going throughout, if I see something that is that's relevant to what we're watching and everything, I may share something here or whatever that we should look out for or whatever. So we're going to be watching First Blood. This is kind of last minute that we decided to do this, so I can understand if nobody or if a few people have the movie all set up. We're going to tell you where we are. Right now, we're both set up right after. If you want to get your DVD copy, or we'll count 1, 2, 3 movies go, and you could set it up, or right after when Brian Dennehy's name shows up. As soon as it fades, that's where both of us are set up to see the movie. Am I right about that, Rob? Or did I lose you?
No, I was saying that it's similar. Yeah, that's it. Because I'm watching the Blu-ray director's cut, so I might have what is, to Ed's point there, the final cut. So it's right when Dennehy's names disappear. You should see the bridge in there. We'll try to give about every 10 minutes or so, like, oh, it's 10 minutes right now. We see this. We'll try to, even though we're commenting on, we try to set the scenes too, and just in case you can't see it, because you probably remember some of the scenes. Oh, this is the scene where he's doing this or that. So we'll see how it goes. This is new for us, but we enjoyed, and we hope you enjoyed as well.
Okay, and Brewer said he needs a moment, so you know what? I'll wait. I'll wait, and we'll give Brewer a moment. Why not? He's
setting up.
Yeah. Tell us.
Debuted a new show last night that you were unaware of.
Say again.
We debuted a new show last night that you were unaware of.
Yeah, I was told, but how'd it go? What were you talking about?
Don't act surprised.
Okay. What? Okay. Oh my gosh! Yeah. What? Tell me how it went.
We debuted the very first episode of whatever the name's going to be of our horror show.
Okay. Now this I did not know.
Yes, and in all seriousness, and I wanted to do something local that represented the state of Florida, because everybody picks on Florida, but Florida's the shit. We know it.
Oh.
And I wanted micro low budget because, in the spirit of the 70s science fiction films we've been starting to cover, like Soylent Green and the Omega Man and some of the others, I want to do sort of a micro budget one. And I had a tough time coming up with one. And I thought, well, we haven't done too much for horror. I know I want to do some of the Hammer horror films, and everyone's going to argue about what's horror. Like, I don't believe comedy horror is a real genre. It's certainly not horror to me. I said, what's going to be kind of weird? And I thought about it, and it hit me. I knew of a movie that was filmed over in the Tampa Bay, St. Pete area a little bit. I have some extended family over there. So I'm over there once or twice a year for a couple of days or something. And it was shot on such a micro budget, it only took 12 days to film. And it stars William Shatner, and it's called Impulse. And he's a gigolo serial killer. I'm not joking.
All you have to do to tell me that movie is worth watching is saying William Shatner plays a gigolo serial killer. Okay.
Just saying. And for the fashionistas out there, because I know it's been a while since we've gotten into some of the members only type stuff, or any Chuck Norris type of things, or any Canadian tuxedo sightings. But for this movie, every single scene Shatner's in, he's got a brand new outfit on. And being filmed in, I think it was in 74 when they filmed it, and it got released in 75. You would recognize all these outfits and just the horrible decor, but it really does feel like Florida watching it. Because like I say, there's no second unit. There's no whatever. It's shot in like 12 days. Odd Job is in it.
Oh, okay.
And a chick from Hee Haw plays the main squeeze. The younger main squeeze, I should say. A single mom and whatever. So that was kind of an interesting thing that we talked about last night.
It's a movie where you have
exploitation at its finest, bro.
William Shatner playing a gigolo serial killer that co-stars Odd Job and a chick from Hee Haw. Man, that's it. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know right there.
Impulse is what TJ Hooker should have been. I still love me some TJ Hooker there,
Hee
Eric. So
hee ha
yeah.
ha ha. Alrighty, yeah. Okay, so Brewer saying he's in. So we're gonna get this. We're gonna get this party started here, and alrighty. If you're ready, I'll count it down. So everybody, if you're watching, get to whatever you're doing, and we're gonna start the movie. And 3, 2, 1, start. All right.
It has begun.
It has begun. Okay, by the way, one thing I've got to say, there's a movie that was inspired by Ruckus, by Rambo here, First Blood, and it's called Ruckus, starring Dirk Benedict, which I would love to go over also because that movie's funny as hell. Have you ever seen that one?
Yes.
That is amazingly bad. At one point, they have a motorcycle jump where they end up like right here, and then it does a heart around it. It's like, oh my gosh, that's classic.
Yeah, now my first thoughts of this is where he's walking. He's got the army shirt on. He's getting ready. He's looking for his friend, I believe. But
Yep.
when I was a kid seeing this, I hadn't really traveled the world yet or seen a place like this. And I thought, my God, this is beautiful. I believed it's filmed just in the Vancouver area, just north of that, like maybe around Whistler or some of those areas, a real small town. But this is flat out gorgeous where they're
It
at.
really is the lakefront. Yeah, I thought it was nice when we were in Meadowbrook. We lived on a lake, but damn, nothing like this. It was really just a drainage ditch, though. Yeah, still didn't stop us from getting a door and riding on it like freaking Tom Sawyer.
That is true.
Yeah. Isn't this the same scene from Forrest Gump where he walks up and says, stupid as stupid as?
Don't ruin Rambo 2 minutes in.
Oh, okay. Now I can understand where they're going with the costuming, because of course the Vietnam War really affected him. But he's in his army jacket carrying his army pack on his side.
Yeah, he's a drifter. That's how I took it.
This was like what, 1982, right? 1982. So at this point, you're probably talking about 6-7 years, maybe even 8.
Well, I looked at the characters of just being a drifter, and this is his few possessions that had meaning for him. So he'd always keep them.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
And before cell phones, people would actually carry pictures in their pockets, like he's showing.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? Agent Orange. My dad got cancer because of that.
Oh yeah, said that.
Yeah, he says that he got killed in Vietnam. It just took him, 50 years to feel the effects. I feel like I'm watching the film through E's eyes. Is it the glasses? Are you guys getting? There you go.
Oh, let me check that out. Well, on the other screen.
See if you guys are getting reflection of off my glasses onto the computer screen. There you go.
I wonder what happened if you put a mirror up.
I think we would still be nailed for copyright, but yeah.
Yeah.
If we were showing a backward version of it, yeah, I don't know. By the way, this looks like a great town to live in. Seriously, I would love to move into a small town like this, but you can't find places like this anymore.
If you went up into Canada, you would.
Yeah, but that's kind of like fairy tale land. I'm not sure it really exists. I don't know. It's okay. It looks. I would love to find a small town when I went to Thailand. Every place looked like this, and I was like, wow, I want to live here now because it's like 1970s, 80s America.
Right.
I say that, but being next to those mountains, it gets cold in July. So yeah, no, thank you.
So Denny, the cop, saying hi to everybody. He's showing how he just knows everybody. He's a good cop. He's saying, "Gonna take a bath this week." I'm at the 5:50 mark now. Rambo's walking. The bus is passing him.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. One of my favorite lines coming up.
Now, gotta say he is treating him like crap here because the man's not bothering anybody. He'll just walk through, maybe stop at a counter or something like that, grab himself some chili or
It's just, an alpha trying to exert his authority. I mean, I don't think he's treating him bad. He's just being upfront with him. And he's just being that cop dickish kind of thing about it.
No, he's absolutely treating him bad. We have the right to transport and such. We have the right to go from town to town.
Well, also keep in mind, despite what may be going on in today's world, and this is 40 years ago, there are vagrancy laws.
That is
especially
true.
that. So I can see this happening. And people that did dress like that did stick out a lot more.
But he's not doing anything that says he's a vagrant.
He's dressed like he's in the military 6-7 years later. So Denny, he smells that. He smells a rat. And they're crossing the bridge right now.
You talk about smell. Actually, if you think about how much he's been walking around, probably wearing that jacket, probably stinks.
Yeah, and he says that, get your haircut and take a bath, you'll avoid trouble. And this is just assertiveness, and I love seeing it. You don't see it in a lot of films today, Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are going to manipulate you, try and do things, but you do what you do, and things happen. And this is awesome. He just turns around and starts walking. And it's darker, too. It's getting ready to storm again.
Well, speaking of, how are you guys doing and ready?
Oh, we're always ready.
All right, cool.
Puts his collar up right now, and here we go. He's like, screw this, I'm hungry.
Oh, by the way, ever since it's been mentioned, I'm trying to line it up so anybody wants to look through the glasses. See, this is before, when I first saw this movie, I didn't know who Sylvester Stallone was. I knew who Rocky was. And I saw Victory and I saw this one, but I wasn't putting names with faces as much. It's just like, oh, it's that guy and that guy. Unless it was an actress. I was more likely to do that with like Aaron Gray or, Farrah Fawcett, Cheryl Ladd, and all them, Linda Carter.
There wasn't really a lot for us to actually go back and look through. We had to say, oh, we saw this person, we think, in this movie. We talked it all out.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't immediate. It wasn't, like now you got Netflix. Let's look it up on IMDb or something like that. You remember when those knives became famous because of him?
Well, I knew people that had them, and the thing
Mhm.
too is it's legit. I mean, I knew some hunters and whatnot, but I got to tell you, this is when I started going, I don't understand what he did wrong. I know he's a bum and a vagrant. You don't want him, but now you arrest him because he's walking to town, and it totally floored me. Other than he was being a jerk, but it may or may not be illegal to have that. And
Well, he
this is
just
where you
said,
get into state laws and rights and stuff. It's just ridiculous. Resisting arrest and concealing a weapon. This just makes everybody hate cops.
yeah. He said arrest him for vagrancy, something else, and for carrying a concealed weapon.
Resisting arrest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
See,
thought this was cool when he was cutting the paper with the knife. I was like, holy crap, that's a thing.
yeah.
Now
He's
this guy talking to him right now that just cut the paper, he's the real evil bastard. And here we got prime young Caruso.
yeah, I was about to say, yeah, Caruso actually became a star in his own right. This is long before he hits, though.
Yeah.
Listening while at work, I'll admit this movie was okay. Christy, this movie is awesome. It's not merely okay. Baby ducks are okay, especially with the right kind of sauce. But this one's awesome.
Duck's horrible. It's disgusting.
I love duck.
Goat is better than duck, and goat is not good.
Goat is not bad. Goat is not bad, especially raw.
So right now he's seeing the bars. He's having flashbacks where they're pouring shit all over him.
And we're being proven that Sylvester Stallone should never have a Fu Manchu mustache.
I think he looks good in here. Dude's ripped. He's probably about 160 in this movie. Just totally swole. I mean, for 160. And these guys are just, yeah.
Jay, I will break out the whiskey when I do a drunk stream on the other channel. So, yeah, that will happen. That will happen. It's John. I am John Jones Rambo.
I like the fact that he's not talking and he's just kind of doing his own thing and walking back. I really like that about this character so far.
Yes. That's the whole secret. And I told my kids too, never talk to the cops.
And I always thought this was cool. I was like, can you really just not allow them to take your fingerprints that way? It's all digital now these days.
Yeah. I just want a bowl of chili. So he's saying, okay, it'd be easier if you follow the rules, but wouldn't it have been easier just to let the man get a burger or like I said, a bowl of chili or something? Walk on. I always say chili because you got to assume it's a little bit cold.
Oh yeah. Yeah, here he's they're getting ready to hose him down. He's all scarred up. He's getting undressed. And they're all freaking out about how scarred up he is. Treating him like an animal.
He's sucking in his stomach.
Cheap shot.
Yep. By the way, don't recommend that. Have you ever been hit with a fire hose?
Yeah, it's pain. Yeah.
It's not fun. Although if you can get to an open fire hydrant, those are not bad.
Well, at the time I didn't know anything about it, but you get any of that near your face or your head, that might remind them of waterboarding a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting ready to shave them, and they got the old straight razor. I don't have an old straight razor. I've got the shavette type one. I've been wanting a straight razor really, really bad. This scene I think's badass here, where he beats the shit out of everybody. They're trying to restrain him.
That was a really bad reading there, Caruso. How blind are you? Because you can't tell who he's talking to. Yeah, I miss old-fashioned sprinklers too, Maranya. I remember having fun in those.
Ball shots. I mean, yeah. This was awesome as a kid. I was like, wow.
As he reached back, he didn't grab the face, he grabbed the other hand and then did the flip. "1980s glass shatter sound."
Beautiful sound.
Yeah.
More same sound.
Yep.
I thought it was cool here where he kind of hops over the thing, and they just to go from 0 to 60 where he's up in the mountains is just badass. Little slide kick. Oh yeah, we used to try to do that.
Yeah, he could have
getting a rifle.
he could have nailed any civilians had he missed. Yeah, he's right. Oh my gosh, I saw it. It really did look like he yelled "effing move it."
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the family bird. We've got the pets over here because of the hurricane.
He's just tweeting.
Yeah. She wants to put him up now, but I don't think he wants to go. Oh, dude, did you see that? That stuntman almost wiped out. Went a little bit too close to that tree. By the way, you wouldn't get an sound on that gravel road, by the way. I gotta say something. It doesn't look like they're using green screen or for Brian Dennehy's driving shots.
I thought that he did most of his own driving. I mean,
well, obviously for the bouncing like that, they would have a stuntman, driving, so for whatever little jumps they did, definitely for this right here. But there's a couple of ways they do this. Sometimes they'll make a rig so the camera can ride on the side of the car, or they'll have a follow along vehicle that'll film, or of course they'll use green screen.
Yeah.
They're not for a while, I don't know if it's changed, but for a while they weren't allowed to have cameras in the car. I don't know if that's changed or not, because of course, back then the camera would be like 5 feet tall and 6 feet wide. Of course I'm exaggerating to make a point, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, big and heavy.
Now you don't have to do that. You can put a cell phone up on your dashboard and record and get a better picture than what you would have back then. Yeah, the ride's over, dude. Oh, yipes. Okay, see here, this is good. Just let him go. Let him get away. Let him go somewhere else. I wouldn't chase him. Yeah, the whole point was to get him to the other side of town and get him out of town. I wouldn't have chased him at this point.
Well, the argument would be that with all the way they treat him, though, he'd let somebody know so they all can investigate it. His ass is on the line, so he's got skin in the game now. He has to.
Yeah, Maranya, it's a sound you kind of you get used to, because they don't care if it's night or day. If you're trying to get to sleep or not, they'll tweedle around.
You put a blanket over the parakeet thing, though. That helps.
It does occasionally. Sometimes he just doesn't like the fact that there's a blanket over the cage.
Well, this, I have to say, is one of the first shows outside of, say, The Fugitive, where I saw a person, an individual, being resourceful. Right now, I'm at the exactly 22-minute mark. He's looking around the truck. He just sat down. He's got some twine with him. He's got his knife. It's cold, so he's trying to come up with a game plan for survival. So this whole scene to me is neat, because you get to see, okay, his background and everything else that comes into play, and you find stuff that's somewhat conveniently placed there, but realistic enough. Old mining operation.
Yeah.
You probably need some water and stuff.
Why don't you just get a little dish, put some water if he wants to. Yeah. So obviously he just wants to fly around. So he's not bothered unless he shits on my computer and then he's got to die. But beyond that, it's okay. You're fine. I'm not going to take you back. You want to come on?
Geek Hero, we're just past the 23-minute mark on Rambo. He's climbing up next to the waterfall.
Yeah.
Stops. He's looking around.
If you've got access to a copy, put it down on the 23 mark. By the time you get there, it'll probably be around 24, 25. But yeah, if you...
we'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and growing up in the hood, avoiding gunshots and people trying to rob you and rape you and beat you and stuff, seeing him just go right into nature like this is so great. So they're getting dogs that hunt on sight because it's raining, because some dogs can do sight, some do smell. I think some do like a combination. So depending on your search and rescue type teams and how they're trained, that kind of stuff's important. As a kid, I had no idea of any of that stuff, but it makes sense now watching. So it's like another level of detail that I appreciate.
The one thing, though, I wish that, and this is going to come up a little bit later, the one thing I wish they did was, these are guys who live near these mountains, and more than likely they hunt in these mountains. So I would have liked to have seen the cops treated a little bit more competently.
Yeah, they're a bit of buffoons. You're absolutely right. But it was the 80s, so all cops were buffoons.
Yeah, it's true, but it would have just made the movie that much better if they were competent in the mountains, if they were shown to be people who lived in this particular area.
I agree. They'd all kind of know the area and have some experience.
Because if your villain's smart, your hero has to be smarter. If they write it well, luckier if they don't.
And I tell you, I've done a little hiking. Something like this kind of grade is very tiring, and slipping on moss or leaves or any of that stuff, it's it's not pleasant. I mean, this is not an easy thing. You just think, oh, he's running to the top, will be fine. But I like how they take their time showing what's going on. And they're introducing everybody that's going to get whacked or assault on him later.
One of the things I don't tell a lot of people, because it just shows how crazy I am. Whenever I get to whenever I've been like at Bear Creek Park, or anytime I'm at a mountainside, I always want to jump. Not like, oh, I'm gonna die or anything like that. I always want to feel like what it is to free fall. So I don't like being up in high places like that.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I just would love to feel like woo, but it's that sudden deceleration at the end that would pretty much fuck up the trip. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's on his granite face, and this is just ridiculous.
Now we're going to be talking about another movie where he's mountain climbing, and when we do the movies for 1993.
You mean Ace Ventura 2?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or was it Star Trek 5 or 4?
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about great mountain climbing films like that.
The Iger Sanction?
Yeah. Goodness gracious. I think it's kind of funny because, like, really, he's 5 feet above the.
But this still looks really, really good.
Oh yeah, it does.
It's great music. Mm-hmm. It's a great scene,
and this movie is beautiful.
Yes,
it just has a great scenery. Great. I really do think they captured, but they didn't try to overdo it. Like they didn't try to oversaturate the colors to make it look like that fake green.
So asshole guy that really liked abusing the real bastard. He's the one taking the shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bad ADR. You could tell they didn't get the sound over the helicopter, and that's why his mouth isn't quite matching everything, and he sounds weird.
Well, it's clear that Brian Denny, he either doesn't know or doesn't care. He certainly doesn't have control of his underlings as far as the stuff they do, and because he seems genuinely surprised that this guy's doing it, not like, oh, there he's doing it again. But yeah, third time's a charm, which I always hate movies. But here's jumping off the cliff into the water. As a kid, I thought this was so badass.
No,
we know it is.
He's jumping off into the trees.
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm somebody who fell out of a tree like this, and I'll tell you, yeah, you're damn right he's hurting. I fell out of a tree from the top, and you do hit every branch on the way down. It is not a pleasant feeling. I do not recommend you do that. That is just about the time. You remember when I was able to pop my hip in and out of joint?
Yep.
That happened because of the me falling out of the tree.
This I thought was a pretty good scene too. He doesn't have a gun. It's not a big shootout. The guy's got the single shot rifle, and rock, meat, helicopter.
Yeah.
That's all I think about with here.
Rock beats helicopters. 1, 2, woo! I win. Yeah. Hooah. And it's not like he hit the cop or anything. He just hit the helicopter, and the dude jostled, and down he goes.
Well, it's a thermal, and he's a lefty too, Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
I always like that.
Now, here's the thing. I think that if a cop starts firing at you for any reason, you have a right to fire back.
You're not going to win that argument.
I know, but I'm sorry, but yeah, dude, we should be able to defend ourselves. Now, but the same thing, of course, if you fire at him first, he's got the right to take you down, but it shouldn't be because, oh, you can't fire back because a cop's shooting. No. Mainly,
This is just small town harassment, you know.
Yeah.
He's grabbing his gears, running through the water right now. And this is when you know, as they say, the shit's real.
Yeah.
The one body there on the rock.
So immediately they go like, oh, he killed that cop. They don't ask the helicopter pilot what happened. Where, oh, the guy went crazy and he started shooting. He said he would kill me if I didn't keep the helicopter going. And he started shooting at this guy. So he threw a rock at us. I jostled and he fell out. Like, just talk to the helicopter pilot and you would get the story. So I don't know.
Yeah, one guy down the street from me had this knife, actually, and he had it before the movie. And it was badass because it's got the compass in it. It's got like some the matches that you can use. Right now, they showing him sewing himself up, which is pretty cool.
It was the compass twisted off so you could keep matches and the needle, the thread, whatever you needed to in the inside. Yeah. What do you got?
Oh, and this dude would end up being on Miami Vice later. Not these two, but the one guy that's just saying, I don't understand how he fell out. Switek, I guess, or Zito, I forget which one. The one that would always make the sarcastic comment. He was on the Phil Collins episode there. The one, but then they cheated him at the end.
Yeah, that would make you not trust the cops. Shoot me in the head. Yeah, I'm not going to trust you anymore. That's my rule. I know I'm a crazy guy sometime, but yeah. Maranya saying, but if they asked the helicopter guy, then Rambo wouldn't be able to do his vengeance. Oh, so the guy who's wearing the Band-Aid across his nose, his name is Alf Humphreys, and he actually got his nose broke in the prison fight. That's why he's wearing the Band-Aid across it, because it's actually broken.
Yeah. Yeah, another way of looking at this film, like I say, is through Brian Dennehy. He's fantastic. This is just about a guy that just can't control everybody, and he's trying to. He realizes he effed up, and he's trying to figure it out. So I'm not saying he's not guilty, but it's interesting. They're real badasses.
Oh, and there's a plot point that was left out of the movie, but was in the novel. One of the reasons Dennehy doesn't like the guy is that he's a veteran of the Korean War, and at the time, all the attention was going to the Vietnam vets.
That's right.
So the original movie was 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
I would love to see that cut. I mean, I understand it'd probably be way too long. This is a really tight 93 minutes. So, yeah. But I would love just to see the 3 hour. Like if they could put it on a Blu-ray, make it available. Oh, and here's another little tasty fact for you there, Rob. First Blood was Sylvester Stallone's first non-Rocky movie that did not bomb.
Yeah.
Whoa. Just he's okay.
Yeah, I want to put him back.
Okay.
He's been
He's gonna
up for hours.
throw a fit.
Come on.
Geek Hero of Comics and Consoles name reminds me, if you kind of shorten it up a little bit and you're playing with it, like CNC Music Factory, remember them?
Yeah.
Gonna make you sweat.
Gonna make you sweat.
Yeah, I have not seen like the 3 or 3.5 hour cut. I heard that was the original one. I don't know if that's an actual one.
So Gail's chasing the bird, trying to put him back, and I'm being dive bombed occasionally.
Look how heavy he's breathing.
What?
Look how heavy he's breathing. Look at his breathing.
Come here. Come here. I'm your friend. I don't care if you go back. It's okay. You want to come out?
Dobies are the only, as a kid, were the scariest looking dogs to me, and they're super smart.
Yeah, we had a Doberman Pinscher for a while. It attacked Chris, actually, and that did not go over well with the family.
No comment. I think I remember that. So right now we're a few seconds away from the 37-minute mark. He's saying, Orville, listen, you have to stay awake. They're trying to put the tourniquet around him because the guy got shot. Storm's coming in.
The funny thing is they would mark that guy as killed by Rambo as well.
Remember when you use words and there's different levels of them that were gay in nature that would really piss people off? Like they'd mentioned pansy in here earlier. You would say faggot or queer or whatever. And now all that's gone, of course. But back then, if you called somebody a pansy, you're challenging your manhood big time. And so the guy's like, all right, we'll keep going. And then he gets whacked. No, he's not a pansy. He was smart. He knew not to go forward.
Willie Smokers.
Willie Smokers smoking a Willie. We used to say, sweet. He's being a little sweet on you there. Pansy's a very tough flower.
It's kind of funny because when a lot of the times, a lot of the stuff they would nail you for saying these days, we didn't actually mean, like when you go, oh, that's gay. You don't mean gay guy. You don't mean gay as in homosexual.
Gay isn't just different from the norm.
And lame. Yeah, it didn't mean anything. And then like, oh, it means an insult. I'll just let it go. It's changed. Gay used to not mean homosexual. It used to mean different. So words change occasionally. I think this guy's going to get taken out.
I don't know. That's David Caruso. I think he'll survive.
Think so?
I have to admit, this is a cool scene. It made me jump when first time I saw it. I never saw him laying there when I watched it.
Yeah,
right in the hammy.
I didn't even you see, I've seen this a while back. I haven't seen this in a while. I completely forgot he did that.
He's screaming like a bitch, as we would say.
Yeah, good reason though.
It's true. Crusoe's selling it. I give him credit for that.
Yeah. I think Rambo should have taken his gun.
I thought he did. Well, he takes somebody's, I know. So you get all your ninja stealth strikes going on, like right here. He's just jumping out.
You take him out, broken arm here, broken leg here, stab him there until they can't do their job. You get away.
Well, it's hard to hold back, and that's what he's doing. So he's actually showing
Mhm.
restraint just by injuring them as opposed to outright killing them.
No.
Ow! Oh, right in the nutsack too. Nice.
Now, I don't know the name of that particular trap the guy just ran into. I know there's the sticks and a bunch of other things too, but I was like, God, they're showing every single individual way of the stuff he would use back then, and it's just brutal.
This reminds me of that Southern Comfort movie where they set traps in the swamp.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, and let's open those wounds.
1, 2, 3.
Let's rub a little dirt in there, a little spit. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be good. Punjabi sticks. Well, they're
Those are the ones in the pit, right?
Yeah, that's in the pit. This is swung. He clipped it as he's running by a tree, and the vine swings, and it's got things, spikes on it.
Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Let it go. Let it go. I used to say that all the time at work.
Oh, and he's cut right under the chin. Not bad, not too horrible.
Yeah. Then he's pissing in his pants right now.
Did you take him outside? You know, if he gets around, there's a cat.
Home Alone meets Rambo. You know, on Englintine's ever popular I Love Comics channel, he could probably do comparison things like that would be absolutely fantastic. I think those are interesting ideas. Put two totally seemingly unrelated things together and see what happens.
Yeah, but they're movies, so I would do it here.
Well, but you could do a comics thing, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
what you do, right?
Yeah.
What if?
Yep. Home Alone versus Rambo.
You go to your room. You go to your room, or I'll give you punishment like you've never had. I could see it. Now, I don't want to say this is a cheap movie, but what I like about it too, besides being filmed on location, as I've always said, is a big thing, is it's very beautiful with the outdoors. But again, to your point, not a lot of green screens, not a lot of other stuff. It doesn't look like it's an expensive movie. Practical effects, everything.
The budget was $15 million in 1982. That's actually a good chunk of change.
Well, part of it's salary, but also part of it was the fact that they reshot the hell out of it, with film being expensive in a 3-4 hour cut or whatever. That would have to be a big part of it. That guy looks like Antonio Banderas.
Adjusted for inflation.
50 mil.
Well, I got it. Let's see. In other words, 100 is okay. So let's see.
Yeah, he didn't need a big budget to tell a good story. I agree, but the line there that the news guy says is fantastic. You know, the police survived due to their special training. The whole spin that media puts on stuff is fantastic, and as much as things are today, politically speaking, with the media, obviously you see it here too.
Part of me misses the day of mostly practical effects in movies. I think a lot of people really, really believe that. I did.
I did. It's almost a Shatner vibe, the way he's delivering this.
So I'm checking this out, and apparently the it would be the same as over 400 million.
No, that's not right.
No, wait. $40 million, excuse me.
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah, I was adding a zero on there.
Yeah, I said 50 mil. My bad. I was just quick estimating.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's pretty close.
Chuck Norris was in an Expendables movie, but I won't say it was the last one. Maybe 3. Yeah, not the first one.
But actually, $40 million is a pretty modest budget these days, and to think you can make Rambo First Blood on $40 million today.
Oh yeah, you could. You can make a lot of movies really cheap.
Shut up.
I actually think these two guys have great arguments on either side, and Dennehy, even to really defend him, I like how he wants to maintain control of what's going on.
Yeah, but I'm gonna yeah, but this. He just saw Rambo take out all of his men one by one, so he knows that there's a threat, and he's acting like there isn't.
But he's a war vet from Korea. He doesn't want to give that responsibility up.
He's the war vet in Korea in the book.
Yeah,
in the movie here, it hasn't really been established.
Yeah. Yeah, where's the pizza? I'm glad we talked about pizza. Like I said, I got my chips. Actually, I think we might do water on the next snacking it, like designer water, bitch stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not good at that.
Where's the water out?
It all seems like
C-Force, which it's not for sale here in Central Florida.
Well, and this is for the next drunk stream right there. Yeah, it's a brandy. I've never had brandy before, so I figured, what the heck? Yeah. Now, Ed, he did say let him go and pick him up sometime later when he's not in the woods, all in defensive mode. So we are at the 50-minute mark, and we have at this point Brian Dennehy and Richard Crenna talking about how if Rambo wanted to spare some lives, he would give himself up. If you guys just jumped in and you want to find a copy of First Blood to join our little watch party here,
Rambo's sleeping, radio's on. It's great visual right here. Just his face in the fire.
yeah.
I'm nitpicky. I hate it when you look in an actor's eyes and you see the 3 lights from the 3 cameras. And you see that a lot on shows and movies. Oh, it pisses me off so much.
Yeah, Geek Hero, I've never tried it before, so I guess I've got something to look forward to.
I don't think I've heard of E&J.
Yeah, me neither.
Huh.
In all honesty, I was just looking for something cheap. And I told the lady behind, I said, last time I went to a gas station, got $5 Fireball. This is $7, but she said it's low end.
I'll be last one, sir.
What's he doing? What's he doing?
Yeah, that's right.
They do so not me.
What's interesting here is 2 things. One, you think about Rambo here. He said, "I tried to get in touch with you, sir, at Bragg." Here's the whole point of the movie. Nobody really likes these guys. He reached out to him for help, couldn't get it, and you would get something you would think from the military. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it shows him as being just a DC type of guy, just another suit basically. But on the flip side, you take his boss and you go, well, if he trained Rambo, saved his ass, was in his shit with him, which I think, of course, they expand on his character later. I don't know how much liberty they take with it. You think he's just as good as Rambo when it comes down to the nitty gritty of it all. Maybe not a better fighter, but he's certainly smart guy. So you're like, holy crap, this guy should be better than Rambo.
Well, he would also have slowed down a little bit because of age. But remember, there's a movie called The Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro.
That's a good movie. Yeah.
And it's basically
best fighting movie with knives.
Yeah, it's basically this, where they hire the Richard Crenna character to go after Rambo, the who is at this point, Benicio del Toro. Not literal, but you get the point there.
You know that water's cold. Friggin' cold.
Students can overcome teachers, says Ed Brewer. We see that in schools all the time. Ed Brewer. I wish I was back in the.
He's running away from the kid hunter.
This would be one of those silver bullet situations where they're so afraid the werewolf's going to get them that they start shooting each other.
Don't telegraph it.
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying there's a whole bunch of people in the woods panicking. So yeah, they would end up shooting at each other.
At the 56-minute mark.
So this reminds me, I was playing this game, and it's one of those shooting games called what was it, Lost Planet or something like that. And my team bowed out, so it was just me, and I had more kills than anybody on the other team. And I was like, son of a bitch, because I'm going to lose this game. So I got into a building just like this where they had to come down a set of stairs to come and get me. And they got mad that I wouldn't come out and fight them. Because every time they jumped in, ended up getting them. So yeah, somebody got shot. Somebody got shot in the head.
All right, so he's out of
bullets.
bullets.
No. Okay, no, he didn't get shot. He's just laying down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just all afraid.
These guys are kind of funny. They're all freaked out. Screw you. Yeah, because these are the weekend warriors, right?
Yep.
The National Guard.
I'd tell them straight up, we are scared as hell and we will kill you not to die. And we're going to be dumb about it.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell how stupid of a decision this was. I mean, yeah, they're trying to capture him, but to kill him in your National Guard part-time on the weekend because, you're a teacher during the week or you work at the grocery store? My God. But yeah, they take the rocket launcher, mine blows up. It's probably one of the biggest effects they have.
And tell me, okay, you are a teacher or have been in the past.
Allegedly, I've educated some people.
Would you not have fun just blowing up a mine with a rocket launcher if they gave you a chance? You know what? I think I'm going to go out there right now. Kablammy! At least just once. Wouldn't you like to fire one off just once and blow something up?
That's true. Can't argue that. We are now exactly at the 59-minute mark. So we're 2/3 of the movie way through, so it's just pretty much resolution.
I know
time.
this movie goes, man. There is no fat on this film.
On this cut.
On this cut, yeah. I definitely want to see the 3.5 hour cut, but on this particular one, there is no fat.
Yeah, the Merc mags that would always be out in the stores.
At us. No, he wasn't. That right there tells you the problem with how they're going about finding Rambo. I got to be at the drugstore tomorrow. I can't do this.
Yeah, there's something about just individual survival that was always fascinating to me on a primitive level. And, he's lighting up the stuff here, making a torch, and it's just badass,
Richard Crenna is one of the best speaking into the middle ground actors of all time. No matter how much how he ended up, at one point in time, he was very special. It's like
Jerkwater USA.
It's like where are you looking? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just go over the fact that he killed a cop, which of course we know he didn't really. Schooling folks since 2002.
So he's just rallying his troops around him, very primal kind of thing. What do you see right now on your screen?
Right now, I am seeing Rambo digging through what looks to be an oil drum while his knife is burning in a piece of wood.
Okay, me too. Okay, so
and
yeah.
He just took off his shirt
Troutman just popped up.
Yeah, so he can make either Molotovs or whatever he's going to do with it.
This is cool too. He's checking out and seeing some altitude. He knows there's potential cave areas in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would think it's Crenna being Crenna, or the colonel here. If he trained Rambo, and I said this before, why aren't they just sending him to get him? He should be able to look around and figure out, okay, where's he going to go? What's the best?
He's just a consultant. He can't take over it. He's not FBI. It's a jurisdictional issue at this level, at this particular time.
My dad, when he was, he said when he was in the war, he was very good at doing that. Like he would look around and he would look at the base that they were at, and he would ask himself if he had to attack it, how he would attack it. And then he would fortify defenses where he needed.
Marania's saying obligatory Rambo shirtless scene to prove Stallone spent time in a gym. And to quote something Jay would like to hear, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Obligatory. Of course. We haven't gone to the gratuitousness level yet of the 80s, which we've mentioned that about 85 films and on. Yeah. But yeah, you see the Ward's at his desk there in the back. So, they at least showed that, but you don't know what they're from. So yeah, they didn't expand on it, obviously, in this cut, which actually might have made it even better. Like he understands what Rambo is, and that's why he doesn't want him in, not just because he's a Jerkwater USA guy.
I think there should be a town called Jerkwater somewhere.
I'm sure there is. Yeah, Marania, I even seen Stallone today, like on Instagram when it put out stuff training and stuff. It's great. There's a guy, Athlean X, that does a fitness kind of channel. I like watching his videos. Him and Stallone at some point, I think, are going to end up doing a little training together, and that's just going to be epic. But yeah, Stallone's he's a good role model for fitness, I think.
Oh, no kidding, especially when you like he is old enough to add for your age to things, and the man's in great shape no matter what, but he's definitely in great shape for his age.
I'm assuming those are all real rats too.
Yeah, though it have to be.
Yeah, J. Rocky is one of my favorite films of all time. I just think it just gets me every single time. So yeah, when I knew Rocky before, because you mentioned you hadn't seen him yet, you knew it was Rocky, and this was something else. I knew Rocky and was very well acquainted with it before I saw this, and then I liked this, and then almost everything I saw for the most part after this with him, I just liked him. Maybe the movies weren't too good, but I liked him.
I knew he was Rocky. It was just, I wasn't the guy who could put, like right now you tell me what movie, I can tell you what actor, the whole 9 yards, but I wasn't putting actors' names, and it's just, Rocky looked like Rambo. It's one of those situations. Actually, that's how I taught my daughters about how fake movies are, because Dudley Do-Right and George of the Jungle look very much like the same guy. I feel like I was partly responsible for what happened.
Yeah, this is a good exchange between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is what ends up happening in the original cut. So after showing a 40-minute edit of the film, international rights sold in 5 minutes. That's how quickly they wanted the movie overseas.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Yeah, because a guy that lived down the street, we used to talk about this movie all the time. He had the knife and stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, what was cool is when he's walking around the cave, you can figure out where to get out because it's the flickering flame." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "Oh, because the wind when it pushes it." I'm like, "Oh, you can figure out what direction." And sure enough, here he goes. And you're like, "It's stupid, it's dumb, it's practical, it's nothing fancy, but it works." And it's that survival stuff that you just don't think about when you're, trying to survive the mean streets of Pine Hills.
So here's something we were talking about. Of course, Sylvester Stallone's always kept himself in shape, but another little tidbit, he didn't get sick during this. He's in a tank top, he's in the cold water, he's in the cold air, until somebody offered him a shot of brandy. That made him sick.
Well, from the glass, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
The whole you get sick when it gets cold is crap. I mean, it's just everyone always likes to say, "Oh, it's cold out, you're going to catch a cold." No, it's not. It has nothing to do with it.
Another little bit, Al Pacino was supposed to play John Rambo.
I don't think that would have worked.
He wanted him to be more of a madman.
No. So right now we are closing in on the 1 hour, 10-minute mark. He's looking at the last Jeep. He's now jumping, or stunt doubles jumping on top.
Did you transfer my clothes from the washer to? Thank you.
Even a tumble like that's not a bad scene, you know?
No, not at all. I mean, that's a legitimate stunt. And if you're
Exactly.
the guy
Yeah.
fell exactly how, I mean, of course, his feet were crossed. He rolled over.
And rocks are
Yeah.
sharp and hard and, packed in like that
Oh,
when you're up like
anybody
that.
who's wiped out in the freaking ocean knows about that. Have you ever wiped out gotten wiped out by a wave
Oh,
and
yeah.
then dragged across the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's always a lot of fun. You always kind of gotta, you get a little bit confused about which way is up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I always stretch my legs out because if your feet are either going to touch bottom or they're going to touch air, so that always helped.
Yeah, Jay's talking about Escape Plan being a pretty good gem of a film. Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. He's done, I think, a couple of them now.
Yeah,
But I always like how he has an idea and he does it. And some are misses or maybe not great, but he's just productive. And
Yeah.
you didn't know what he was going to become at this point here. I mean, you knew Rocky, but I mean, as a kid, you didn't know how big Rocky was. You didn't know how good it was. I would argue. I liked it, but I didn't get what was going on with all that stuff. It was just the boxing part. But as you get older, it's like, man, what a fantastic film. And then this was pretty solid. Ed, I think you're forgetting the exclamation mark there. That makes all the difference in the world.
Stop, or my mom will shoot. Man, that movie was bad. That movie was remarkably bad. I mean, I was watching this film called Kramer versus Kramer with Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep. Great acting. It's about two parents who divorced and they needed custody. They're fighting for custody of their kid. And I was watching, I was thinking, it's missing something though. And I figured it out. It's missing arm wrestling. So I watched Over the Top. Yeah.
Obligatory explosion when cars collide for Maranya. So she likes obligatory things.
Yeah. Back then, though, we had Pintos, which were actually exploding.
Not as bad as Teslas.
No.
So yeah, this just takes place, I want to say, over the course of one night maybe? Because now it's the dawn.
Oh, shoot. I was about to ask a question. You can't answer. Is this the same bridge from Untouchables, but you haven't seen Untouchables yet?
I'm going to say probably not.
You know what, though? That's a film that after we're done with the Rambo movies, we got to get some of these movies that are really cool that you haven't seen yet.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. Untouchables. What was the one? It was in my 1990s countdown you haven't watched. Oh, Goodfellas. Or Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. Damn straight. Yeah. Except for we'll have to wait until November because October is going to be horror films and this month is going to be Rambo movies. And yes, we're even doing number 3.
I think we already did 2.
No, we didn't do a watch party.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. You get arrested for this. Orlando's changed. Wow. I would love to do that just once.
Yes, Ed. 1991 Top 10 Tuesday. That's the show. And then this 7 o'clock will be something.
Obviously, for the next couple of days, we're going to put an asterisk on things. But if everything is okay, then yeah, we're going to be doing it.
And the way these storms go, honestly, this thing could not really give us hardly any rain at all. Seriously.
Yeah.
Or it could change at the last minute and hit us. I mean, but really, the hype's there, the hysteria's there, but a lot of the locals are kind of like, yeah, we'll wait another day or two, but it's probably going to be a big flame out. So it may not actually be that bad, but we don't know.
Sometimes they're not, but it's a Cat 5 right now. So even, and we're with the path that they're showing, we would still get some high winds. We're going to still get some rain if what they're saying is right.
Yeah, it's just a question if it affects our internet.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
I don't even think our electricity will go out.
But my plan is when it starts, when it hits, I'm going to do a live stream, and I am not going to stop until the power goes out. So.
Well, you go, girl.
Damn straight. Thank you.
2 snaps and a whatever the other thing is.
I don't know. My femininity doesn't reach into 2019 male. I was raised in the 80s where guys were allowed to be guys.
And Denny, it's really a toss-up between Denny Heat and the diabetes guy about how much film they were in the 80s.
In the 80s, yeah. Wilford Brimley or Brian Dennehy, yeah.
I'm Denny. Oh my God, you couldn't stop this guy. Just like you couldn't stop Steve Gutenberg once he got to a certain point. He just got a late start. Gutenberg, I mean, my God, all these guys were in everything.
Dennehy did a Western I love called Silverado. Man, I dig on that big time. I love that. You knew he was still alive, didn't you? I expect.
Well, Troutman almost seems a little hurt, like, you won't let me have my boy, but again, he's just a consultant, I'm guessing.
Oh, I love that shot. He comes in. It's like the shadow first.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What gets me is he's running around every building like, okay, like he's ready for somebody to shoot at him when he knows that he took out most of the police force at this point.
Yeah, but he's in the zone right now.
He's speaking to the middle ground again. You see him? He's not really talking to Brian Dennehy. He's just like staring off, and it's like he's imagining this version of John Rambo. Dennehy over Gutenberg any day. Hell yeah. Brian Dennehy was in FX. He was also in Tommy Boy in the 90s.
Christmas tree tells you it's Christmas time because you wouldn't really know otherwise.
Right. Hey, so First Blood is a Christmas movie? No.
Yes, it is. It's better than Die Hard. We should do a Die Hard versus Rambo Christmas movie shootout. Rambo game over.
Every year you get the people who are claiming this is a Christmas movie. Now, okay, Die Hard at least though has the songs. It has elements that let you know it takes place at Christmas. But when they don't, no, it's not.
Yeah, in this scene here where he's just kind of looking around by himself with the town, you have the fire in the background that looks like it's a real effect. This is just kind of cool because it's very realistic. It's not overlit, like to your point about the colors and everything. You have the big Christmas lights there, the big bulbs and whatnot. He's getting ready to take out the Transformers there.
Oh, not the store, Johnny. Come on. That's somebody's living there, man.
The store kind of looked like TG&Y.
Well, see, I actually like the fact that he did that. The store is not where the Transformer is by the looks of it. So he shoots the store. The alarm goes off. The cop goes over to check it out. Yep. He can get that last Transformer without revealing. That's actually pretty smart.
You know what TG&Y the initials stood for? That five and dime store, and
yeah, I remember TG&Y. Yeah,
Do you remember what it stood for, though?
Not even a little bit.
Toys, Games, and Yarns.
Oh, really? I did not know
Seriously,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
Little Pine Hills
yeah.
trivia there, knowledge.
That was just where, when I was a kid, I would get cassette tapes to sell to the kids at school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 may be a Christmas movie, but I know the greatest Christmas movie of all time, since we're thinking of movies that happen during Christmas.
Mhm.
And that would be one of your favorite movies of all time, especially from the Tom Cruise canon.
Okay.
And that would be Eyes Wide Shut.
Yucca. Yeah. That I can't believe I hate a movie so much with that much nudity in it. But that movie was bad.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, remember when you could go to the stores for the most part and just buy ammo and gunpowder and stuff like that? Now it's
Yep.
like, oh, Christ almighty, fingerprint this, do that. You're like,
Yep.
come on. Yeah,
I
Gremlin.
know. In the 80s, it was so much easier to buy stuff like guns and babies. It was just, they didn't check on you that much. Oh, man. I actually thought that was you saying damn it for a bit.
Oh,
That's cool. Okay, for anybody who doesn't know what's going on at this point, if you're listening, this is the finale where we're actually watching the movie at this point instead of commenting. And
120
basically,
yeah.
yeah, and Rambo is just blowing the hell out of Brian Dennehy's town. Brian Dennehy is on the roof of the police station, and he's looking for where Rambo is, but he's running from street to street, blowing up individual buildings, so he can't get a hook on it. And finally, Dennehy poked his head up, and Rambo now knows where to find him.
Yeah, Denny knows he's screwed. He's
Oh,
like,
he's-
damn
yeah.
it. I just want to go home. More Christmas effects.
Well, Rambo's not.
We should ask Dalton to authenticate this from this film
Yeah.
if he would to watch it. But right now, with the Christmas themes, the motifs and stuff they're showing in here, I don't think I'm seeing any Illuminati type designs. I think it's very bare bones Christian-esque type Christmas.
Well, that's interesting to look at.
All I know is, he didn't have breakfast, but he had a boar lunch, so that's good. Good eats. This is cool. He kind of knows where Denny's going to catch him at. Because Denny's peeking through it and he sees the shadow. So he's like, oh, I know where I need to go. It's a little cat and mouse here. And it's beautiful too because there's not a lot of dialogue in this movie. You watch it and you get just enough of what's going on.
Well, I guess that was right. That was one of the stories that was told, that he just didn't like a lot of the dialogue. So let Rambo be more of a quiet character. And I think it works.
Yeah. Shooting through the roof, shooting up through it. Denny's falling through the glass. Same glass sound, at least the third time we've got it. Glass count at 3. Gasping. And now we're going to get a speech.
Oh, we're going to get one of the best speeches in movie history. Oh, someone else who was supposed to play Rambo? James Garner. People really don't give Sylvester Stallone enough respect for his acting.
I know.
And there's, I mean, granted, he's done some movies that can make you question it, but this right here, you have the original Rocky and Rocky 2, if you ask me. Oh, and of course, Rocky and or what is it, Rocky Balboa and the new Creed movies. He's kicked all sorts of butt in. The one where he played Copland, I thought he did great. Yeah. But he doesn't get enough. I mean, this is a really good scene right here, and he's killing it in it.
Well, I didn't realize at the time, but I mean, the '80s, that's when they really started glorifying, broken homes and single moms, and even men that. One of the things that was always made fun of, but now it's more a serious thing too, is just the attack on men. He cared about his body and his physique. He's a decent looking guy, great body. Obviously he works out a lot. He cares about himself as a man, it seems like. And it seems like people would make fun of him. And everybody used to do it. And he'd always I thought did a really good job of not letting it get under his skin, because he's partially paralyzed. That's why he talks and has that funny thing and everything too. And to emote like this, to go from really pissed to hysterical like this, you're right. It's a fantastic scene. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I'm asking my dad. My dad's like, "Yeah, you don't want to go to war. You don't have to."
Actually, my dad, when Desert Storm happened, he sat me down and says, "If they start drafting, you go. You get out of here."
Well, it's not that someone's telling you to go or not go. It's just letting you know that bad things can happen. So even today, when most of it's logistics and everything, this stuff still happens, But back then, we didn't really know. It was kind of clouded in the mystery. People didn't talk about it as much as they did. Pretty much left vets alone, honestly. We didn't talk to them, but they wouldn't talk either. Now it's pretty open about all the things that happen. And there's Troutman, who wouldn't pick up the phone for him, allegedly. And now Rambo just wants a hug. I mean, I'm trying not to be goofy, but it's like he just wants to make a connection, and that's why he's so distraught after his dead friend. And a lack of breakfast to make you a little jittery too. Yeah, his writing is pretty spot on with things. He pretty much knows what he wants to communicate. He has an idea what the story is, and here he wrote enough with this script to kind of make you think about it without any specific things. And I don't mean that to be ambiguous, like it's a bad thing, like a lot of people do now because they can't figure it out. But it made me as a kid just question all these types of things. And it's like PTSD. It's a real thing. Some people say, "Oh, just take, CBD oil or this or that," but it's a real thing. And usually, like being involved in dogs or something therapeutic like that helps. But again, back then you didn't know. Again, he couldn't even hold down a job at a car wash. And that's it. Cue end of movie.
Yeah. So, First Blood, awesome film. Both of you and I had it on our top 10s when we did the 1982. Yeah. It's an incredible film. Love it. This is just proven. Like I said, 93 minutes, no fat. There is no fat on this film. Everything is necessary. Even, I want to watch the 3-hour cut just out of curiosity. I don't think there needs to be anything extra to this movie. I do enjoy the other ones that we're going to watch, and I will have to point out the fact that this suffers the same thing that the Die Hard franchise suffered. After a while, the everyman got tossed aside, and he becomes a superhero.
Yep.
But right here, this is a guy who's can hurt and is hurt. So I think that's one thing. The one thing I appreciate about this movie more so than I do the future ones.
Well, and to your point, one thing we've not talked about, we have not gotten there yet in the 90s. We have talked about a couple of comic bookish superhero type movies on the top 10 Tuesdays, is that I mentioned to you that something happened in the 80s where things just got totally glorified. You know, we mentioned that on Kicking It with Chuck Norris going into Invasion USA, and you're absolutely 100% right. The same thing happens with Rambo. The next
Yep.
movies aren't Rambo movies. They're 80s movies that have a character, let's
Called
put
Rambo.
Rambo
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're not bad or they're not entertaining.
Well, they're a lot of fun.
Yes. But the big thing I've been holding back bringing up, but I'll bring it up now while we've got 10 people still listening here, is that I know that I've always said I really liked Blade in the late 90s, and everything that happened after that was because of Blade. That's one thing I like to just argue, and even though I'd have to really think about it. A part of me wants to argue that anything that happened in the 90s that led up to Blade and all the comic book superhero stuff that's going on today is because of what happened in the 80s with things just going on full tilt, boogie, steroid induced, 80ishness. I don't even know what the hell the word is. Geist. I don't know, but you're absolutely right. That's what happens with the 80s a lot, with sequelitis becoming the norm and just bigger, more explosions and everything. But all goes back to it. This is the best of all the Rambo films. I think to me, the next best one is actually the last one. That was really graphic and violent, the one where he's in Burma, I think. And it'll be interesting to see what this last one is. I'm hyped to see it. I can't wait till we talk about it.
Uh-huh.
But to your
Yeah, I
point,
know.
the other ones are just action movies,
Yeah.
And this movie, though, is a cut above. This is what I would always say is a film. The others are just movies.
Movies. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. This is an actual film. Because I've been searching for this kind of thing. How about this movie if Teasel, the Brian Dennehy character, was played by Clint Eastwood and John Rambo was Robert De Niro? That was an actual pairing that was going to happen.
Robert De Niro, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, but Clint Eastwood,
I could see that actually more
maybe,
than I can Robert De
here's
Niro.
the thing about Brian Dennehy's character, because they didn't really show the Korean element to it, is the fact that he's Jerkwater Eurosay captain. He's not stupid. He realizes what's going on, and then he realizes, oh shit, something got out of control that I couldn't handle, and how the hell do I deal with it without losing face, as the Japanese would say.
Yeah.
I think that's a very big thing for him. So a lot of it's how to deal with it. And like I said, Rambo's not actually on screen a lot. Yeah, great film. Great film.
So one thing that Sylvester Stallone insisted on changing from the book to the movie is the fact that in the book he was more of a psychotic, cold-blooded killer.
Right.
And that's absolutely necessary, I think. And put him instead of they changed him into a victim of the circumstances. And that's what, if you're going to be on John Rambo's side in a movie, it's completely different than a book. So you definitely need to get the audience to like him a lot quicker. And I think they did that properly. Yeah.
I don't know if he's a likable character. I would say that he's an understandable character. And yeah, he's got that, he just wanted to do the right thing. He didn't harm anybody kind of sympathy or simpy if you're a Scott Steiner fan like I am from the WCW days in wrestling. But again, Brian Dennehy, yeah, he's automatically the bad guy. He fucked up. Is he a bad guy? He kind of did some bad things, but with the way he portrays them, I mean, it's tough. And then you've got Troutman, that's the political, in between, that's like a lot of government characters, just got no balls. He's just powerless. He might have been the man at one time, but now he's a sellout. So you get a lot of different facets from the adult perspective. Watching this as a kid, I didn't pick up on, and that's why I say it also makes it a great film. You can watch it from that perspective. It's just fun to watch. The sound is great in it. It's just, it's great film. And I'm glad it's really high up on both our lists.
Yeah. I think it needs to. Okay, one more silly bit of trivia, and then I'm going to drop the trivia bit. The screams that were used for all of the cops are also used in the video game Golden Axe. So there you go. Little trivia for you there.
Well, alrighty then.
England. There you go. Pacino played Rambo, would have been like Dog Day Afternoon, says Marania. Eastwood versus De Niro in real life would have been better. Yeah, actually, I believe that. Yeah. And Stallone gets no respect for his writing. He did get the Oscar nomination for Rocky, as well as the Oscar nomination for acting in that one. So, and the movie won. So at least that's that. But yeah, there you go, gang. That is Rambo, First Blood, or as we call it in the 80s, First Blood. That's all you need.
It's First Blood. Did you see
Yeah.
First Blood? Yeah, that's cool. It was on HBO last night or whatever. Yeah, it's First
Yeah.
Blood.
And that's did you Stallone all over yourself?
Let's just say my palms are a little hairy, my vision is bad, and I'm gonna go get some paper towels.
Well, there you go. There you go. All righty. What do we have coming up this week?
Tuesday night, weather Dorian permitting, we'll go ahead at 7 o'clock with a yet to be named show. We're rotating between kicking it, snacking it, the horror one and sci-fi one that have no names yet. I think we called it Too Extreme Movie Show for the horror. I'm trying to figure out one for sci-fi. So we're fooling around with that. I know the Authenticator wants to get involved in doing something with reviewing some food stuff. We're seeing how that's going to go, whether that's here or there. But that's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that may develop. But then, of course, at 8 o'clock, we have Top 10 Tuesday with 1991 being the year in reference. And I'm sure you probably have about 40 films written down already, sir.
Actually, no. I believe I only made it to 23, 22 films that I actually thought could be on the list. 91 and 92, not as strong as past years. Tell you the truth. So we're gonna go over those. We're gonna talk about that because there were some 80s years, some years in the 80s where I had like 27 or 30 movies I had to parse down to 10. This one was a little bit easier because I like to do the runner up. So really I just break it down to 20 and then I line them up in whatever I feel is my favorite going on down. So yeah, not as hard this decade so far.
We'll and the less, I don't know what the number of films are, what the trend is from the 80s, 70s to 80s to 90s, if you get more or less or holds flat. But to me, it was easier to cut a lot of them out because a lot of them just sucked. Or I said, I'm not going to see that. This is stupid. Or it's dumb. That's one of the things I'm noticing as this goes on.
They're our favorite, but yeah, there was just some that I was very easy leaving off the list. While the 80s, when you're talking about a year like 1982, which could possibly be the greatest year of entertainment, you just had so many that you were like, yeah, but that one's great. That one's great. That one's great. With these, there were some good movies, but when it came down to great, there just wasn't as many. So yeah, I did make the runners up. I've got my lists all made up until 1994, as a matter of fact. And it does get better. So, at least there's that. But that doesn't mean there aren't strong films in 1991 or 92 or 93, as a matter. So by all means, you guys got a fever, and the prescription is extremely bad puns. Okay, we'll have the doctor for that. Not doctor, but Dalton. Anyway, gang, want to thank you guys for hanging out with us and doing a First Blood Rambo watch party. I like doing these comment section kind of thing, whatever you call it. Commentary. There you go. I hate it when I'm searching for an easy word.
Yeah, and the thing too with these commentaries, we've only done I think 3 of them now, and the idea obviously to be able to go back and listen to it, I felt like, oh, we shouldn't do it because nobody can really, unless they start it at home or wherever and sync it up, it's going to be hard to do it. So I don't know how the youngins, the millennials, the Generation Xers and Yers, the people that don't have jobs and stay at home in their mom's basement, allegedly, that we like to make fun of and joke about here, if it works. But we've definitely gotten a lot of views on them. So
there's an aftermarket for it. So maybe some people are lining it up. Let's talk. We've got things to say. We were there.
Yeah. And
we were there in the theaters. We know what the sights and the smells were about the people watching it. We're not a plastic channel. Dude, have I told you about plastic channels? If you're on YouTube and you're watching somebody, and it's usually like some zygote, some kid who maybe just hit 20, and he's reading off a script, and he says, well, in the 80s when we had, like, what do you mean we, white man? No, you weren't around. You're in diapers at the least. And somebody's writing the script and he's just saying the dialogue. We may not be as clean and polished as a written script all the way down, but we're from the heart and we were friggin' there. And
Well,
that's
we do
something.
ad lib these shows. I mean, we have kind of a rough template that we kind of go through. I mean, you guys understand that we're trying to figure out what structure works best for interaction and commentary. We're debating about describing what's going on for the people that are just listening to it versus us just commenting on it. So tonight we want to kind of talk a little bit more about the scenes. So yes, it's obviously a very young work in progress. So obviously, we like to do things that are engaging. So
Yeah.
we'll continue to do.
Well, and one of the things are, of course, we're talking about things that we want and the things that excite us, and that we hope the excitement and the energy kind of pours off. Now, Computer Bots is asking, Englentine, why are you and Rob both so awesome? Let me answer that. It's our diet. And that is why we're talking about it during Snacking It. So don't miss Snacking It. These are the foods that we recommend anybody eats if you want to be awesome.
I will put you on an extreme diet selection. And like I said earlier, if you were listening to the yet to be named sci-fi extra special edition movie show,
We'll come up with
I was I was trying to stay apolitical when it comes to the overpopulation argument, just presenting what it is. We did talk some nutrition in there about soylent grain, soy, reduces testosterone. We had some nutritional advice that I'm allowed to give you because I am not an actually licensed dietitian or a nutritionist. So therefore, I don't really care if you take something in diet and I tell you do it and don't do it because it won't be my fault legally. Allegedly.
Soylent Green is femboy. I mean, that was bad.
I just put in, yeah, it was. I was ignoring it.
That's a good idea. That was bad. That was just a bad joke.
Well, the Snacking It is the foods. We grew up eating foods while we were watching films and going to different places. So that's something E and I would do young. We would try to go out to International Drive here in Central Florida and try the new restaurant, because I will tell you, my family did not eat Chinese, and the one time a year we did was from a can, and it sucked. So that was my take on Asian food. So
yikes,
there's something to this diet thing.
And now both you and I are
low carb. That's the way to go.
Nowadays, both you and I are proponents of Asian food. But I'll tell you one thing that will always remain such a great movie food. And I don't know if we could talk about it on the whole or just this one experience. Like one day we're just going to have to talk about the mall. We're going to have to talk about the movie theater. We're going to have to talk about the gold mine, and we're going to have to talk about Coney Island chili and the whole experience. Well,
you're forgetting one thing that was in Stranger Things that we didn't talk about.
What is
Orange Julius.
Orange Julius with the back when they weren't afraid to get sued over cracking a raw egg into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, okay. We have to talk about the mall food court. Absolutely. So hey, you know what? Maybe that's the Snacking It this week. We'll talk about mall food courts. Right before the top 10. What do you think?
I think it's going to be water.
Okay, we'll try water.
And then we're going to do we'll have to do an extra special extended edition of mall food, because there's more that I could talk about.
Yeah, give it. No, I think you're right. I'm gonna back you on this one. I'm gonna say maybe mall foods takes an hour and not a half hour.
Yeah, because
we'll have to start
say topic water. Okay, go.
Yeah. Because water, I'm not one of those guys who really tells a difference. So I'm going to be listening to you for most of this one. But yeah. All righty. And yes, actually, movie candy, the whole 9 yard stuff. We're going to get to it all, Maranya. But once again, I want to close this before it becomes a 4-hour live stream like we are so famous for doing. Not us here, but at least I Love Comics is definitely famous for it. Maranya on her birthday took us all the way to 7 hours. That, my friend, was a live stream. Oh, by the way, I noticed there's 11 watching and only 8 that's hit the like button. Please, by all means, click the like button. Make sure that you're subscribed. Ring that notification bell, because that's all that universal. That's all that YouTube really cares about. Once again, want to thank everybody in the comment section. Rob, this is awesome. So thanks for agreeing to do the Rambo movies this month. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for watching. And remember, Mr. Brent,
stay extreme.
Stay extreme.
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 Cheers, guys.